Everybody comes in, your grandmother.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in and pull and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Antifa exists.
$7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico.
As far as my relationships with all people, I think I have great relationships with all people. I am the least racist person in this room.
Unbelievable.
That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I don't take a position.
Who you worried about? I'll tell you who I'm worried about. I'm worried about the fact that our workers are seeing a decline in their standard of living. They want to see our industry be rebuilt. That's what they want to see. No more B-2 bombers, no more Star Wars. Let's make the quality products we need. Let's invest in American industry. No, I won't yield.
And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup from my family. They're so innocent. This is soup from my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup from my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people.
You have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened.
You will file articles of impeachment against President Joe Biden.
Like this, and we will, I need water, help me, I need water, help. And this is on live television.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
I hate the white man. He's of the devil. He was made in a cave in the worst parts of Europe, produced from the lowest forms of humanity.
They had a very bad original concept. It was carried out poorly, and the cover-up was one of the worst in the history of cover-ups. It's very simple. Bad deal, should have never been thought of. Somebody really messed up, and they had the worst cover-up ever. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it, because whoever thought of that idea, I think is in big trouble.
In person, in my office, in Philadelphia. That's where they should be done.
That the most potent force in the Republican Party is President Trump. We need Trump plus. That's it.
He was not a loser. He was a patriot, and the people left behind there were heroes.
Really?
And I resent
Are you talking
like
about
hell.
Hunter? Are you talking about
I'm
Hunter?
talking about my son, Beau Biden. You're talking about
I don't know, Bo. I know Hunter.
Yeah,
Hunter
you know,
got
Bo.
Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. It
for
wasn't dishonorably.
cocaine use, and he didn't have a job until you became vice president.
Oh, seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
Really, how many people do that? You mean they moved out and then they said, "Oh, the hell with it, I'll move back in"? You know, it doesn't sound like a very normal. You mean they moved out and what? They missed it so much that they wanted to move back in?
Well, and
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by the go. You know the thing. But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting, "Pigs in a blanket," talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon.
You know, the truth of the matter is that when you look at some of my policies, in a lot of ways, Richard Nixon was more liberal than I was.
And my leg down, so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Then I have an Article 2 where I have the right to do whatever I want as president, but I don't even talk about that. Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Hello, users, and welcome to another. What's happening? I don't know. Do you know what is this? Are you okay? So let's backtrack for a moment. Let's backtrack. Okay, so it is a Saturday morning. Saturday morning, March 13th, 2021, folks. Saturday morning. Everyone loves the morning. I love the morning, right? In fact, I'm going to drink some of my morning covfefe right now. So it's Saturday morning, everyone. And some dumb bitch, that's me, starts a live stream, right? And somehow there are people here watching the live. Can you imagine such a scenario? Because I can't. But that's the world we're living in, folks. Welcome to Above It Motherfucking All. Cody was right behind me, but then he mysteriously disappeared. So how's everyone doing? Hopefully everyone's having a good day. I'm having a good day myself. So yeah, today is March 13th. My show may be a little bit shorter than usual today because the infant child that has just been birthed in my family is coming home today. So that's what's happening. And so I will probably maybe do a 60 to a 90-minute show. Did you wash your hair? Yes, actually, I washed my hair about 4 times in my entire life. It's something I don't do often. But I did it, last time I washed my hair was maybe 3 years ago. So, you know, but yes, I did in fact wash my hair. I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. Everybody hope on communist paradise. Smirking cat emoji. Pinky and pointer finger up emoji. Liked. Thumbs up emoji. Is there a dog? Cody, say hello. Okay, Cody. Hello. Oh, look at this dog. Woo. Look at the doggy. Look at the doggy. Look at him. It's Cody the dog, folks. Today will probably be Cody's last appearance for a while. We'll see. We'll see. You're always allowed in my room, Cody. When is it politically opportune to hit the like button? It's politically opportune probably at about 6, I would say anywhere between 16 and 28 minutes into the live stream. Is probably, that's the ideal, that's like the Goldilocks zone of liking the stream. Cody is spelled Kodi for reference. Dog seems different. That's correct, as the dog is in fact different. I don't, there's no congratulations for me. I'm just doing a YouTube show. I didn't do anything. I just vacuumed. And I did a very half-assed job, may I say myself, sabotaging the baby from the get-go. Hello, Rosie Bean. Thanks for streaming. I'm happy to see more young female activists on the left. That's me. I try my best. Thank you for watching. So yeah, I've got a decent lineup of shows. Where is Max? Maxie! He's downstairs. He's downstairs. Cody is up here with me right now. I've been leaving my doors open, because there's 3 dogs, roaming around, that, you know, we're kind of taking care of. So I leave my door open, and sometimes, you know, Max is downstairs, sometimes Cody's downstairs, etc., etc. So, is today Saturday? I'm pretty sure today's Saturday. Yeah, today's Saturday. You're fucking freaking me out. No Bodan here. Oh well, that means Ian, the only Eastern European here. Wow, Mike Silver is trying to take credit for something. Interesting. Anyway, so yeah, I've got a show. We're going to do a show. This show, it exists. It is a show that exists, and we will be talking about the existence of this show right now. Because why not, right? So here we have a dumb bitch. And I gotta, you know, make sure my browser fits this. Okay. So here we got a dumb bitch, also known as the governor of Nebraska, say something extremely interesting. So let's watch.
So this is a dangerous drug that will impact our kids. If you legalize marijuana, you're going to kill your kids. That's what the data shows from around the country.
Okay, so the dumb bitch who currently has the most power in the state of Nebraska somehow thinks that the year is 1978 or something. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out like a scenario where this makes sense. But so marijuana is going to kill your kids, folks. It's a dangerous drug. Like, imagine being... This is my thing, right? Now, I've been doing drugs for a while now. Like, it's a great way to start a story. I've been doing drugs for a while now. And everything that everyone told me about drugs, right, has been completely wrong, right? But imagine, like, you're a human being, right? And there's a plant that exists, right? And you can, like, put it on your tomato sauce, and it makes it taste a little better. Yeah, I'm talking about oregano, folks. Why would you want to outlaw that plant? All it does is make your life better, right? That's all it does, right? Like, it's outlawing marijuana is about as logical as outlawing oregano, outlawing basil. You know, why would you do so? You wouldn't, because you're not a dumb bitch. But these people live in an alternate reality. They live in, like, some bizarre, you know, like, they live in some alternate world, like a fantasy novel, like I'm, like, fucking playing, like, Elder Scrolls or something. They live in this fantasy world where, like, you know, all of a sudden this herb that exists is just going to kill you now for some reason. Home in the chat. The cops are gonna kill your kids if they smoke weed and it's the weed's fault. That's basically, yes, that's correct, actually. You know, it's more likely that cops are gonna kill your kids if you're smoking weed than the actual marijuana itself. Right, but let's listen to the full statement. This is 23 seconds, folks. 23 seconds of goodness and then also gracious. Let's give it another shot.
So this is a dangerous drug that will impact our kids. If you legalize marijuana, you're going to kill your kids. That's what the data shows from around the country. And that's why it's...
Okay, I'm sorry. I hate to pause it, but I'm really just trying to understand. Okay? So if you legalize marijuana, like, it's like, okay, so you sign the bill, right? Marijuana is legal in Nebraska, and then instantly every kid just drops dead? What? Like, okay, like, there's a leap in logic here that is like, I'm really trying to, I know it's 23 seconds and I'm really, really trying to get through this, right? Okay, so the bill has been signed, or will be signed if this guy weren't a dumb bitch, right? So the bill would be signed, and then as soon as as soon as you lift the pen off of the paper, everyone under the age of 18 is just gonna drop dead? I'm just... Like, is it like entering like a kill all code in a video game or something? Like, I'm trying to figure this out. So let's listen again. Thinking caps on, folks. Let's listen.
So this is a dangerous drug that will impact our kids. If you legalize marijuana, you're going to kill your kids.
Now, okay, so I understand. Okay, let's assume that the fantasy world is correct. All right, marijuana is dangerous. All right. Now, it's going to impact the kids. Now, again, if you're having mothers and fathers smoking weed all day and not caring for their children, I can see how that would impact a child, for sure. But is that going to immediately kill the child? I'm not sure about that. I don't think that that's true. So it's just like, this is a really, like, okay, so it will impact the children by killing them. All right, anyway, let's continue.
The data shows from around the country.
Right, the data. So that's what the data shows. So we've got 13 more seconds in this clip. Will we get some data? Is it possible? Let's find out.
And that's why it's dangerous to go around the established process we have to determine whether or not drugs are safe and effective, and why legalizing marijuana and going around the regulatory process to keep people safe is dangerous and going to harm our kids. So this is a dangerous drug that will impact our kids. If you legalize marijuana, you're going to kill your kids. That's what the data shows from around the country. And that's why it's dangerous to go around the established process we have to determine whether or not drugs are safe and effective, and why legalizing marijuana and going around the regulatory process to keep people safe is dangerous and going to harm our kids.
So, okay, so the argument is that marijuana is going to kill kids, but then he backpedals. Now, so then it's only marijuana that's not regulated. Well, why don't you legalize marijuana and have regulated dispensaries? What about that? No, because then it's going to kill your kids. Well, is marijuana going to kill your kids, or is the lack of regulation going to kill your kids? What? And then it's also like, you realize like almost half the country like, the states in this country have legalized marijuana. Last time I checked, right, now I live in a state where marijuana is illegal, right? But just north of me is a state called Virginia. And they just legalized marijuana in Virginia recently. Now, again, we can disagree with the legalization process there, but... So they just legalized marijuana in Virginia. I know it's legal in D.C., right? They did it in New Jersey, too. Did all the kids die? Was there a mass death? There's been a lot of mass death recently, and let me just tell you, it's not because of marijuana that there's been mass death. Like, the party of mass death is the Republican Party. So, so this guy, right, whom, now someone can, look into this for me if you want, but this guy's a Republican. I'm assuming he doesn't believe in germs. I'm assuming he voted for Donald Trump. So the party of mass death, the party of the cult of capitalism that has killed 500,000 people, including children, that same party is going to say, watch out. All your kids are going to die instantly if weed is legalized, except for all these other states where that happened, and except for, the entire country of Mexico where they're gearing up to legalize weed, and except for Canada, which they already legalized marijuana, and except for all those other countries in Europe that have legalized marijuana. So, it's only going to kill all the kids in Nebraska? Is it something in the water? Is something in the water in Nebraska, having a counteractive effect with marijuana that's going to kill all the kids? I'm really trying. I know that this bit has lasted way longer than it deserves to, but I'm really trying to figure this one out. It's really interesting. But I want to end this clip with the Republican nominee for president in the year 2016 and the year 2020, believe it or not.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
The alcohol lobby finances this guy. They don't want the competition. Yeah, of course. This group, Sam, and its founder, Kevin Sabat, are very cringe, I bet. Folks, we've got Cody the doggy here. Where's Max? Max must be downstairs. Greg Gutfield has to pee. That's on the docket. That's on the docket. Also, I have to pee. No, I'm just kidding, not yet. But yeah, so hopefully everyone's having a good day. I would like to remind everyone, today will be probably a little bit of a shorter episode, because I am going to have an infant enter my domicile very soon. Within maybe an hour and a half, this infant will be transported, there's Max! Maxie! This infant will be transported from a hospital to my domicile. And so I'm going to want to look at this infant. You gotta see the baby! That's going to be me. So Max is a dog, in other news. And so yeah, so I gotta get into that. As you can see, Cody is behind me, as you can see. As you can see, there's this dog. There's a creature of dog-like proportions. Right there. All right, so have the baby as a guest on tomorrow. I'll have to wait a couple years for that one. Look at the child. Max will protect the child. Max will probably kill that child. Max is like a very aggressive licker, so we're gonna have to actually keep Max away from the dog. We have another dog who's like a very aggressive licker as well, so we're gonna have to wait a while before they interact, but either way, that's the situation. That's the rules as of this moment in time. So now that I've successfully wasted a quarter of this show's total length talking about marijuana, let's talk about something else that's probably more interesting and on the subject of dogs. So let's read, folks. This is from... Just kidding. All right, so this is from Yahoo News, which is usually it pulls its news from somewhere. Lara Trump is exposed once again. So, dog rescue charity linked to Lara Trump funneling money into Donald Trump's pocket. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Is this possible? Is it possible? Of course it's possible, folks. A dog rescue charity with links to Lara Trump has spent as much as $1.9 million at former President Donald Trump's properties over the last 7 years. and will drop an additional $250,000 at his Mar-a-Lago country club this weekend. Folks, this fucking weekend.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I accidentally let that. Okay. According to a permit filed with the town of Palm Beach, Florida, Big Dog Ranch Rescue estimates it will spend $225,000 at the club where Donald Trump has taken up full-time residence since leaving the White House. At the profit, all that profit from that spending winds up in his pocket. Internal Revenue Service filings show that the group has spent as much as $1,883,160 on fundraising costs at Mar-a-Lago and Trump's golf course 18 miles north in Jupiter. Jupiter is only 18 miles north of Mar-a-Lago? This is a very interesting development. Starting in 2014, Lara Trump, the wife of Eric Trump, started being listed as a chairwoman for charity events in 2018, and the group's president, Lauren Simmons, visited the White House in 2019 for the signing of a bill addressing animal cruelty. Last Friday night, Simmons issued a statement defending her association with Lara Trump, whom she described as a, quote, great advocate of dogs, and her use of Donald Trump's properties. I love to use Donald Trump's properties.
Unbelievable.
The quality of service, beauty of the venue, and excellent rate provided us as a non-profit, as well as a generosity of supporters who sell out our every event there every year, allows us to rescue and home thousands of dogs. Our investment there and at other venues mentioned in the article has netted more than $12 million over an 8-year period, which allows us to continue our mission. Isn't that interesting? However, she did not respond to the question of why she was putting money into the pocket of someone who tried to overturn the results of an election he lost and whose incitement led to the deaths of 3 police officers and injuries of 140 more. That's certainly interesting. Many businesses have cut their ties to Trump following the deadly January 6th insurrection at the United States Capitol, for which Trump was impeached after he spent 2 months lying about the election having been stolen from him. Trump asked his followers to gather in Washington, D.C. on the day that Congress was meeting to certify the Electoral College votes, and then urged them to march on the Capitol to intimidate his own vice president into violating the Constitution and installing Trump for another term. As dictator, it should say. Simmons, however, was among those propagating Trump's lies on social media, posting messages to, quote, stop the steal, a phrase the defeated president's supporters had adopted. On January 3rd, 3 days before the mob attack, Simmons shared a post stating, either we take power back, or we will never be free again. No more asking nicely. Can we talk about, there is an entire segment of the population. I'm just going to ignore the rest of this article. There is an entire segment of the population. Think about this. Probably 30, 40 million people. Around probably half of those that voted for Trump, right? That, we're going to be, imagine, right? It's the year 2036, right? And you're in a bar somewhere. You're trying to escape the catastrophe of global warming. There's an inferno going on. So you're in a bar, you're getting drunk, right? And some guy sits next to you. You have a conversation, he's got into an argument with his daughter or something, and now he's worried that they hate each other, right? And then 40 minutes into this conversation, right? The guy says, he's 3 whiskeys deep now, right? And he says to you, if only they didn't steal the election in 2020. This is going to be a thing. This is you have to understand. There are millions and millions, tens of millions of people that are going to go about the rest of their lives thinking that Donald Trump's second term was stolen, right? Again, they're you have to understand, and they're just going to crop up. They're just going to appear in your life, right? You're going to get a new job. It's going to be 2044. You're going to get a new job. You finally got that promotion. You got transferred to an office. You're living your dream life, right? And so it's like the fourth day, you're riding high, you're on the fumes of like, you just got that promotion, you're in a new office, right? And then so you're at a meeting, right, with your boss, right? And they just casually mention, if only they didn't steal the election 20 years ago. Right? Now imagine, like, what do you do in that scenario? Who knows, right? But you are going to be in that scenario. Every single one of us is going to have an interaction at some point in our lives. For the rest of our lives, we're going to have an interaction at some point where someone implies the election was stolen. Right? And then there's going to be a point where it becomes like an old conspiracy theory. Like the JFK assassination. There's going to be a point, or like the 9/11 trutherisms. It's been 20 years since 9/11-ish, almost. Right? And there's going to be a point where that becomes like just a thing. That people, like, yeah, there's this group online. They think that the election 20 years ago was stolen. Right? That's just going to be a thing. That's going to be like, and they're going to like all be like racist fucking losers. Right? And they're going to like blame everything that went wrong in their lives on that election, right? It's like, that's what I'm trying. Like, I know that this is a little bit fantastical. Like, at least it seems that way. But you've got tens of millions of people, right? And then these people are going to have kids, right? Now imagine, right? Like, you know, you have a kid, right? And then your kid is in like, you know, let's say your kid is in fucking 8th grade, 9th grade maybe, right? And one of their classmates, like they're in social studies or history, right? And one of their classmates is just like, raises their hand. My mommy said that Donald Trump won the election, but the history book says that he lost. Can you explain that? Right? And then your kid is going to come home and say, hey, someone in my class said that the election 20 years ago was stolen. What's up? Like, you were alive in 2020, right? What was going on? And then, like, think about this. This is going to happen. Like, I know, right? I'm storytelling here, but, like, this is the world that we're going to live in. And again, like, you also have to understand, these people had like 2 months, 3 almost, right? Yeah, about 3. But like really 2 months when it was like at its peak, like of like similar to like drugs. Like, these people were on like hardcore like drugs. Like, think about it. Like, it's like, you know, you're just high as fuck. Like, that's what these people were doing on Facebook, on Parler, on Twitter, all these people in like in their own like, you know, DM groups, and God forbid what they were saying at the dinner table, right? There are these people that were literally hopped up. They were like, we're gonna stop the steal. Yeah, everyone gonna go stop the steal. We're gonna, like, for months, these people were like, we're gonna kill all demon rats. We're gonna stop the goddamn steal, man. Right? And it's gonna be, right? And that's the world that they lived in. They lived in a fantasy world for several months of their lives. They literally were in and it's, you know, the whole Q thing, like, people have been living in a fantasy world for years now, right? But, like, this especially is going to, like, have reverberating effects on our society that y'all, and myself included, haven't really fully come to terms with. But, yeah, these people are crazy. And I just wanted to say, like, they are... Who knows? I really don't know. But man, these people are fucking nuts. We're gonna stop the steal. We're gonna stop the steal. That's what we're gonna do. My mommy told me the great Giuliani valiantly fought the Democrats. The great America's mayor, Rudy Giuliani, moments after rubbing his dick on live television in front of a movie that won awards, that movie awards, right? Moments after doing such a thing, said he was gonna have trial by combat and stop the steal. It's just like, what the hell? But no, I just want you to understand that we have to come to grips with the fact that there are several dozens of millions of people in this country that are fucking nuts. Like, they've got no connection to the real world at all. At all. I hope to God you're right, 0P. I like to think that these Mackachuds you're referring to, Andrea, are much older and their dumbass ideas will die with their dumbasses, and they've already had kids and that are grown now. I hope to God that you're real, that that's true. But goddamn, you know what I'm saying? Like, these people are literally building a fantasy world, like, right now. Like imagine in 100 years, right? When I'm still alive and y'all are dead because you eat meats and you eat sugar every day and I don't. But in 100 years, in 100 years from now, there's going to be people out there that, like, you know how people think that George Washington and Abraham Lincoln are, like, beautiful, amazing people and, like, they're gods among men, right? They think that. They really think that Abraham Lincoln was, like, literally, like, come down by God or something, right? 100 years from now, people are going to treat Donald Trump like that and Rudy Giuliani. They're going to be, like, in some people's minds, they're going to be, like gods among men. You know what I mean? Logic is something the brain is good at, and everyone does. But if you start with believing something instead of ending with it, your brain is useless. That's correct. We talked about sugar on Good Morning Comrade. Who's we, first of all? And what did you say? Voted best Prez ever. Fucking Prez. I love Prez. Let's be real, they will not die off. We were saying that about racists back in the 70s, and here we are. Yeah, again, that's the thing, is you have to understand, this is what I'm saying. Right? So the Civil War happens, right? Let's have history start here for the sake of argument. Right? And you've got half the country that thinks that black people should be property. Right? Like, okay. Interesting belief system there, buddy. Right? And they believe that so much that they were willing to kill their fellow white people over the belief that black people are property. Okay, that's a very interesting part of history in this country. Very interesting. Now imagine, right, the people that didn't die in the battlefields, right? Because the Civil War is apparently like the bloodiest war in U.S. history. I don't know, whatever. Who cares? Like, most of the people that died are dumb. But whatever. Okay, so let's imagine some of the people come home, right? And then they have kids. And then they tell their kids, like, you know, your pappy, or maybe they died, right? And their mom told their kids, because again, the Daughters of the Confederacy is a thing, right? So imagine, right, your dad's dead, right? And you never have a father, right? And then and your mom keeps telling you, your daddy died to protect our rights, our states' rights. Your daddy died like a hero. And you grow up. Like, you're like 3 years old or 2 years old and you're hearing your daddy was a hero. He died for our state's rights. Right? So now, like, let's fast forward 30-ish years later. Right? You think your dad was a hero. Right? A hero. And then you have kids. And then you teach your kids your grandpa was a hero. I didn't grow up with a dad. You're lucky to grow up with a dad. I didn't grow up with a dad. My dad was a hero who died to protect our rights. You know what I mean? Right? And then, okay, all right. And then that kid grows up, right? 30 or 40 years later, right? And then now that's where you get, like, the Daughters of the Confederacy. It's right, you know, these people start, bringing the monuments in, right? And they start, like, we're gonna, like, our pappy, our grandpappy and our pappy they fought for our rights. Right? And they think that genuinely, like, they literally, like, we're now fast forwarding, like, we're in, like, 1910s, 1920s. They literally think that their grandpappy died to protect their rights. Right? That's what they think. It's like, that's in their brain. It's not like, you know, like, for me personally, like, my mom told me stories about her mom and stuff, and it's like, okay, whatever. But imagine those stories were based on, like, a racist fucking part of history, and not just like, yeah, my mommy once went to the store, and like, you know, whatever. And then also imagine, okay, so now we're that far removed. Your grandpappy fought in the Civil War to protect your rights, right? And then you have a kid. That motherfucker has a kid. So now it's the great-grandpappy died in a war to protect the rights, right? And now, like, we're in the 1940s, we're in the 1950s, right? You know, and then all of a sudden, like, the black people that are still there, right? Like, they're human beings that just exist in all of these states, right? Somehow, they have the idea, like, oh, we should have voting rights. Like, we should be given serious civil rights. This is kind of a bit, like, we can't eat at the same, right? And then you think, oh, shit, my great-grandpappy fought for my right to be better than this person or something, right? Like, that's what you've translated it into, right? And then you have a kid. And then now we're in the 1970s. Black people are ostensibly equal to white people, right? At least according to the Civil Rights Act, right? And you try to say, all right, so the law has failed. My great-great-grandpappy's legacy has failed. But I'm going to personally be a racist son of a bitch because that's what my great-great-grandpappy did. Now imagine, now we're in the year, like, 1990, not maybe 2000, right? And then that motherfucker has a kid. And then fast forward 20 years later, 16 years later, maybe for the sake of argument, Donald motherfucking Trump takes the reins. You know what I mean? And so this is the thing, is it's generational. These motherfuckers are generational. They tell their kids, from the age of 2, 3, 4 years old, your grandpappy, your great-great-great-grandpappy died trying to save the citizens, god dang. It's and then they think, a lot of these people will just think, oh, I love my mom, I love my dad, they must be telling me the truth. And then they vote for Donald Trump. Right? Now imagine, right, we've got a new generation. I covered this story a week ago. An 18-year-old was driven by their mommy and daddy over to the Capitol and stormed the building and wanted to kill cops and kill lawmakers, right? Imagine, right? That guy was 14 when Donald Trump became president. Really, 13 and 12 when Donald Trump started running for president. So for a lot of their formative years, right, their parents were like, oh, Trump, he's going to run for president. And then you're 12, right? You're 13, and you're like, wow. You see him go down the escalator, it's like, wow, Trump's going to run for president. My mommy and daddy love Donald Trump. You know what I mean? And then, you're 14, you're 15, Trump's president. Right? Hell yeah, man, he's making them gains or something. I don't know what he did for them, right? But he's president now. And mommy and daddy are talking about it all day. Look at what Trump did, he's great. And then you're 15, you're 16, you're starting to be a real man. Look at me, I got chin on my hair. I got hair on my chin. Look at me, man. Look, I got my deep voice, man. And then you're like Kyle Rittenhouse, for example, right? You're like, I want to be a cop when I grow up. I want to protect President Trump, right? And then these people... right, and there's Kyle Rittenhouse was 17 and he went to a protest and murdered protesters for no other reason other than he wanted to pretend to be a cop. And the cops were like, hell yeah, you want to pretend to be a cop? All right. Their mommies and daddies were like, oh yeah, Trump's the greatest person ever. Black people are evil, right? You look at this kid who was driven fucking 400 miles to Washington, D.C. by their mommy and daddy in the car for fucking 6-7 hours, right? Going to Washington, D.C. Their whole lives, they've been indoctrinated with this fucking garbage. This garbage, right? And then they storm the Capitol and try to kill police officers. And that's the net result. That's when things come to a boil, right? Now imagine when these motherfuckers have kids. It's yeah, I was in jail for 10 years because I tried to stop the steal. Imagine what stories these motherfuckers, hey Cody, hey Max, imagine what stories these motherfuckers are going to be trying to tell to their kids. Yeah, your daddy spent 10 years in prison because he tried to stop the steal. Imagine that. Imagine. Right? And then that person has a kid. Imagine. Your grandpappy was in jail for 25 years because they tried to stop the steal, the greatest steal in the history of the United States. They were there at the front lines and they tried to stop the steal. Imagine. Right? That's the world we're going to live in. I just, little story time for you. But, yeah. Thank you, JL. $10. Some of it was on racism, some was based on the great lost cause. Sorry, history buff, grew up in the South. I mean, that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to say. Is that, over time, it's like a game of telephone. Right? It's like a game of telephone. Right? It starts off with, the pig ate my homework, and it ends with, a dinosaur rampaged through the city. Right? Because over the course of generations, people change it slightly. Right? Over the course of 10 years, it starts off as your dad died for racism, ends as your dad fought for states' rights, and then that person as a kid, it goes, it's like a game of telephone. Campos. You must be unfamiliar with my Liberty Loop segments. I gotta do more of those, man. Now that Biden's in office, I really gotta bring back Chuz. I aided the steal. Yeah, they're gonna tell people, yeah, Andrea, she supported the steal. Hook, $10. What is that? Is that a lemon? You gave me a lemon? Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
It's harder to peddle racist narratives when more people have the basic needs met, but I'm sure... No, for sure, zero PE. They will get less powerful over time, I think, if our society proves to, improve. But it's not like they're going to go away. You know what I mean? It's not going to go away. We're going to be dealing with this shit for the rest of our lives. And that's why, like, when the Capitol riot happened, that's why I started doing extra shows. I was doing like 2 to 3 shows a day trying to go through all the info. Because I wanted everyone in my audience to know everything as much as possible. Because, again, we're going to be explaining this to people for the rest of our lives. I'm going to be 144 years old. I'm going to be explaining to people what happened on January 6th. I'm going to be that person in the Twitter clip who's voting for in the fucking 2000 whatever the fuck 2100 whatever the fuck election. I'm going to be saying, I remember voting against Donald Trump, and then he tried. That's going to be me when I'm 144 years old. Does it matter how crazy people define it? The end result of the attacks and death. The end result of attacks and death. Everyone forgets those lynchings that happened during Trump's run. One was in NYC. Oh, yeah, no, for sure. I covered those, too, over the course of the summer. That was just fucked up. That is why there's no time for finding the good conservative. Forget that nonsense. Tell them they're evil and treat them that way. I can agree with that for sure. Absolutely. Not too long ago, we had Dixie Democrats who were just as racist as Republicans. How the party's realigned is a fascinating... I agree, Rosie. The party realignment is just incredible stuff. Absolutely incredible stuff. Anyway, again, this is going to be a little bit of a shorter show than normally. So I'm going to get into some more stuff. I'm going to get into like a lightning round here. So folks, this is epic. In a good way, actually. So, over the last 12 hours or so, maybe 16 hours, Senator Schumer and Gillibrand and most House Democrats from New York call for Cuomo to resign. So, sometime late last night, the 2 senators from the state of New York have, and almost the entire Democratic, congregation or whatever in the state of New York to the U.S. House have called for the resignation of Governor Andrew Cuomo. So let's get into this. A defiant Cuomo said he won't bow to cancel... I didn't read that. That was the first time I've been exposed to Cuomo saying cancel culture. I just now read that for the first time. Again, what more evidence do you need that this guy's a Republican? Senate Majority Leader Charles Schumer and Senator Kirsten Gillibrand and the majority of House Democrats from New York, including Representatives Jerry Nadler, AOC, and on Friday, AOC, on Friday called for Governor Andrew Cuomo to resign, increasing the pressure on the governor to step down amid an investigation into multiple sexual harassment allegations. And, the fact that he's responsible for killing, tens of thousands of people, but, whatever. Whatever, I'm just saying. Confronting and overcoming the COVID crisis requires sure and steady leadership, blah, 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 blah. We commend the brave actions of the individuals who have come forward with the serious allegations of abuse and misconduct. Due to the multiple credible sexual harassment and misconduct allegations, it is clear that Governor Cuomo has lost the confidence of his governing partners, and the people of New York. Governor Cuomo should resign, Schumer and Gillibrand said in a joint statement issued early Friday evening. How is Biden going to respond to this, y'all? How is Biden going to respond to this? Right? The Senate Majority Leader, right? And almost everyone in the Democratic Party from New York are calling for that guy to resign. Is Biden going to be like, I don't know, man, he seems pretty cool. I'll play cards with him once. Like, what is that? Right? Schumer had called the allegations against Cuomo nauseating on Thursday, but added that the state attorney general, Letitia James, should be allowed to complete her probe into the allegations against the state's 3-term governor. Gillibrand, who was the first senator to call for Senator Al Franken to resign in 2017 amid sexual harassment, claims had also urged that James be given the time to complete her investigation into the multiple claims against Cuomo. Nadler, the powerful chair of the House Judiciary Committee, said that James' investigation into the 6 harassment allegations against the governor should continue. But there is difference between formal investigations that may end in charges and a question of confidence in our political leadership. Thank you. Thank you. Governor Cuomo has lost the confidence of the people of New York. Governor Cuomo must resign, Nadler said in a statement. A defiant Cuomo told reporters in a phone briefing before the Schumer and Gillibrand statement that he won't bow to cancel culture and isn't going anywhere. I am not going to resign, he said, adding that lawmakers won't know the facts until James' investigation is concluded. Politicians who don't know a single fact, but yet form a conclusion and an opinion, are, in my opinion, reckless and dangerous, Cuomo said. The people of New York should not have confidence in a politician who takes a position without knowing any facts or substance. Look at this fucking guy. Jesus Christ. Nadler's statement was one of more than a dozen from Democrats in New York's congressional delegation Friday, calling on the governor to step down, most issued within an hour of one another. By the end of the day, 16 of the 19-member delegation had called on Cuomo to resign. Representative Carolyn Maloney, the chief of the House Oversight and Reform Committee, said, I support those who spoke out about their stories and admire their courage, and said she was joining with other Democrats who have called for Cuomo to step down. This is going to be really fun to watch. Right? This is going to be really fucking fun to watch. Like, I'm just telling you. Ocasio-Cortez released a joint statement with fellow progressive representative Jamal Bowman, also calling for Cuomo's resignation, citing the most recent allegation against him. The fact that the latest report was so recent is alarming, and it raises concerns about the present safety and well-being of the administration's staff. These allegations have all been consistent and highly detailed, and there are also credible media reports of substantiating their accounts, they said, noting that Cuomo is also being investigated for underreporting the number of COVID-19 nursing home deaths. As members of the New York delegation to the House of the U.S. To the U.S. House of Representatives, we believe these women, we believe the reporting, we believe the Attorney General, and we believe the 55 members of the New York State Legislature, including the State Senate Majority Leader, and also, again, the U.S. Senate Majority Leader now, who have concluded that the Governor Cuomo can no longer effectively lead in the face of so many challenges, the pair said. And you can read more of this if you'd like. But basically, Cuomo's going down. It's just a matter of time. I believe I read on Twitter that he's apparently still going to try to be reelected in 2022. So we'll see if that happens. But again, this is a disaster. But I'm very curious to see how Biden's going to respond to this, because obviously Joe Biden has got his own unique situation of sexual harassment claims against him. He's on video sniffing children. That's weird. Did we all just forget about that? Right? So if Joe Biden goes out there and issues a fierce rebuke of Andrew Cuomo, he's going to look like a hypocrite, and he knows that, and the White House knows that. So they're walking on eggshells with this, and this is going to be really, 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 really interesting. And I honestly can't wait to make more videos about this. So, yeah, that's happening. The Senate Majority Leader, both the New York State Senate and the U.S. Senate, both Democrats, are calling for the Democratic governor of New York to go bye-bye. I'm down. Let's get him. Biden will try to stay out of it as much as possible, considering he had... Yes, I agree. I should be doing stuff, but then I turned on YouTube. Thank you for not doing stuff and instead watching my stream. Again, there is a newly minted member of this family that will be living here in this house. They'll be coming to this house very shortly. I'm talking about a baby that was just born. Like, this baby just spawned out of the ether. And so I'm going to be ending my show a little bit earlier than normal today. As a result, and so I'm just letting you know. So, I'm going to try to get through some more of this stuff. Reminder, folks, like the goddamn stream. This is not a request. This is not, oh, Andrea's asking me to like the stream, but I'm playing video games in another tab, and I don't really feel like it. No. Pause the file. Oh, but I'm online. I can't pause the game. I'm playing online. Wait until you die. We all know you're going to die very soon in your game. You suck dick. We all know that. And not in the good way. I'm not talking about the good way. That's going to have to wait a few months, right? But we all know that you're shitty at your video game. Next time you die, just alt-tab. Go like the stream. What else? Oh, but I'm eating breakfast. Oh, and my hands are greasy. Okay. I don't know. Wipe your hands on your pants or something. Go like the... It's not that hard, folks. It's not like the goddamn stream. What the fuck? No more drinking for me. I spent 90% of 2020 drunk. Never make Trump a drinking game. For me, in alcohol, I have other drugs of choice. I spent most of 2020 high on marijuana because I love marijuana, man. Unlike former presidents of ours, I did inhale, and I inhaled a lot. But for me, I like getting drunk on holidays, particularly like Thanksgiving and Christmas. On Thanksgiving and Christmas, I wake up and drink the entire day. That's just something I do. It's kind of fun. So like, if you watch my show on Christmas, I was like, really drunk, and it was 10 a.m. I do my show at 10 a.m. So if you watch my Christmas show this year, or last year, it was, very, very entertaining. So yeah, that's I try to only do it every once in a while. But I love being drunk all day. Being a day drinker is really interesting. Very interesting. No alky since October 15th, 2018. Hell yeah, Hook. I'm happy for you. I mean, alcohol honestly sucks dick. I mean, I prefer other natural forms of medication. Should be playing Santa Claus Saves the Year. Maybe I will. Later, how about a summary of the sexual harassment charges? Maybe. I can do that. Ooh. I'm a vodka drinker. I don't drink anything but vodka, because why would you? Fucking wine? Like, what are you, fucking going through menopause? Like, what the fuck? You're drinking wine? Jesus. It takes me 3 weeks to recover from day drinking. Reminder, I've never had a hangover in my entire life. Do I have time? Twitter DM. Let me check. Men need to stop being violent rather than women keeping safe. I can agree with that.
The suspect.
I don't necessarily want to, like, watch someone else's video on stream, but I can agree with the headline. Sure. I quit drinking because I always get hangovers. I've never had a hangover. I've tried to have a hangover. I legit try. One time I drank a lot and had no water. I woke up, no hangover. Do I swallow? I swallow every single time. Why wouldn't you? Svedka or Smirnoff? Neither. I get vodka from a plastic bottle, the cheapest kind they got. Enjoying a nice large Irish coffee right now. Awesome. I drink wine because I'm near a tandem. I love it. All my homies hate wine. Yo, same. My hangovers lasted for days. I've never had that. I don't know why. I can't get a hangover. I just can't. That's one of my problems. That, like, I had some alcohol problems like a couple years ago when I was really depressed. And I would be drunk like every day, all day for like weeks straight. And the only issues I ever had were I got really hungry. Like, I would forget to eat food, right? And then the alcohol would like not mix well with my stomach acid. And so I just like would get really hungry and I'd have like a really hurt stomach until I ate like something. So that's what, that's my system. But, it creates a feedback loop. But now I just, do other natural medications that, come from nature. I love nature. I mean, you could say alcohol's technically natural. I mean, technically. But, fuck that shit. I prefer things that grow from the ground. That's what I prefer. Why was I depressed? That's a multitude of reasons, of which I will not be getting into on this day. I used to be young and not get hangovers. Well, luckily for me, I am both young and still don't get hangovers. I have creaky knees. My knees are creaky as fuck, right? Boom. They're not creaking right now, but I have really creaky knees. You metabolize alcohol really well. Well, I come from a family where everyone in my family is an alcoholic. So, like, going back several generations. I'm 58 and still have a 40 of old gold from time to time. I don't even know what that means. Aren't you supposed to, like, dig, like, a hole in your front lawn and put gold there? Why would you drink gold? I don't understand. I heard Boone's Farm is pretty good. What? Sorry, I just drink the cheap shit. I'm not going to spend money on getting drunk. That's the thing, right? For me, right? Like, alcohol is alcohol. It's not like marijuana where, like, you spend money on higher quality marijuana. Alcohol is alcohol. There's no difference between the cheap plastic bottle vodka and the most expensive glass bottle fucking stupid rich people vodka. There's no difference. And then the other thing is, you get drunk. You're not going to remember what that fucking shit tastes like. You're not going to fucking remember, oh, wow, that alcohol was really unpleasant. Okay, maybe for your first drink. Like, if you want to get, like, a fucking bottle that's super nice for your first drink, okay, maybe. But then once you're 3 drinks in, you're done. Like, at that point, taste does not matter. Unless you're a bitch. If you're a bitch, I mean, maybe the taste matters, but, you know. It all tastes like shit, lol, exactly. Exactly! I disagree. Well, you can feel free to disagree, Hook. Beer, don't even get me started on beer. Beer sucks dick. And not in the good way. Again, I need to make that very clear. Like, beer is not good. 1, it's bad for you. 2, it makes you fat. 3, it has too many calories. And 4, you need to have like fucking 30 of them to get drunk. What? Like, if I'm gonna have a meme drink, I'll have like a fucking cider or something. You know, so, like, I've had White Claws before. They're okay. But again, the problem is it takes like 50 of them to get drunk. And then all of a sudden, you're going like, boop, and you feel bloated, and then you can't even get drunk because you're getting bloated. And it's like, what the fuck? I'd rather just drink vodka. Thank you. I had to be drunk ASF in order to be able to support Trump. Sober, it just doesn't... Dusty, that is such a good comment. I had to be drunk as fuck in order to be able to support Trump. Sober, it really isn't as fun. I think that's another thing with these people that lived in the fantasy worlds. Like, Dusty, like, are you still living in the fantasy world? Because, sometimes I look at your Twitter and it looks a little suspect. In fact, I'm going to look at your Twitter live on stream. Fucking Respect and Dign One. I love that. Your fucking Twitter name. Respect and Dign One. I can't imagine. Alright, let's look at Dusty Scarlet's Twitter feed. So we have at Respect and Dign One. Woo! Yes, I did cover Nevada. Alright, let's read. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Bruh, SMH. Alright, I agree with that. The judge in Derek Chauvin case has declared that the prosecution will not be allowed to compare the death of in the cruise. Okay, interesting. Uh-oh, we have someone with American flags being retweeted. What's that? This is the organization in charge of the Democratic Party.
If we want to defeat capitalism, we are going to need a party that will organize working people to fight for the demands that we want and to win socialism.
Hell yeah!
Quick point of privilege. Quick point of personal privilege. Yes. Guys, first of all, James Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. I just want to say, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum? I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus. Please, can we just, I know we're all fresh and ready to go.
Is this supposed to be, like, funny? Come on, Dusty. That's a bad retweet, man. Oh, this is me. This is such a good interaction. I thank you for retweeting this. This is great. You might actually be brain dead. I feel sorry for you. And then I respond, do I know you? And then they block me. That's so good. Oh, that's so good. Great reply. All right, what else do we got here? Got mass shootings. That's interesting. Uh-oh. Gina Carano. Isn't that the bitch that got canceled? Uh-oh, Dusty. Why are you retweeting the bitch who got canceled? People who alter or destroy works of art and our cultural heritage. What the fuck? Come on, Dusty. Dusty, come on. You're copying cringe. Come on.
I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Come on. Imagine calling yourself an American and thinking this is okay. What is this? What is that? I don't even know what that means. Bank of America. Is that supposed to be Joe Biden or Donald Trump? What is this? Dusty, what is this, bro? What the fuck? Are you still drunk? She banned this man from drinking tea. Okay. Royal family is said to be amazed at the change in Prince Harry after Meghan banned him from drinking alcohol, tea, and coffee in favor of water. Imagine banning coffee. I can get down with that retweet. Biden's America classy. I have no idea what this has to do with Biden. This is known as being in touch. Millionaire, royals, billionaire, celebrity discussing oppression from an idyllic villa. Okay, I mean, I can get down with that. That's a decent critique. Not to say that they shouldn't be discussing it. It's better they discuss it than not discuss it. But, 1969, in the future... Orwell and good. Okay. 1969, in the future, I bet we will have flying cars and other cool stuff. The future. Is your baby a bigot? Research was carried out by Ontario Institute. I mean, is that bad? Dusty, you're posting cringe, buddy. Yeah, babies could learn bigoted behavior. That's totally possible, especially if their parents are bigots. That's totally possible. What is this? Toby Young. I broke up the Beatles, hold my beer. Oh, is this the Queen or whatever? Okay. It never ends. Ooh, retweeting Paul Joseph Watson. Yo, Dusty, what are you doing, bro? Are private messaging apps the next misinformation hotspot? Telegram and Signal, the encrypted services that keep conversations confidential, are increasingly popular. Our tech columnists discuss whether this could get ugly. Reminder, if you are using basic text messaging apps and you're not using something like Signal, you are a bitch. The feds are reading all of your texts. So, and now that's a good question. Yes, a lot of people look at Brazil, for example. The only reason why Lula was able to be put in prison and get any sort of popular support was because Bolsonaro literally paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to people to go into WhatsApp texting groups, right? With their family and friends and say, yo, Lula's corrupt, bro. Lula's corrupt, bro. Right? And then they would go into their WhatsApp texting groups and go, yo, Lula's corrupt, bro. Vote for Bolsonaro. That's how Bolsonaro got elected in Brazil. So, I mean, yeah, that's a problem. We got to discuss it. Does that mean that private messaging should be banned? Of course not. But that's not what fucking Paul Joseph Watson is saying. Paul Joseph Watson is just posting a headline. Come on, Dusty. Yo, notice how Dusty's not talking anymore. They're getting exposed too hard. Uh-oh. Justin, Pepe Le Pew has reportedly been dropped from the forthcoming Space Jam sequel. The news... Oh, shit. Dusty Scarlet, what are you doing, bro? Anyway, enough of that. But, Dusty, come on, man. Come on. You're almost there. You're almost there. I think Dusty's still on the sauce a little bit. At Respect and Dign 1. I love that the N is there. Can we talk about this, that the N is in the username? Like, Respect and Dig 1 is like, that would be pronounceable. But no, it's Respect and Dign 1. Dign. Respect and Dign. This motherfucker. Well, you're doing a little bit better than you used to. So, well, sometimes you relapse. You know what I mean? You can't quit all at once. Sometimes you have to have the relapse. Anyway, let's get into Fox News because they had some really important stuff happen over the course of the last few hours. Let's watch.
Time now for one more thing. I gotta pee, I gotta pee. You're on the air.
Greg.
Look at this guy. I don't know this guy's name, but look at this guy's face. It's just unchanging. Look at that. Look. It's unchanging. Slight head tilt. Unchanging. Look at that. I love watching people respond to this shit. Okay, so look at that. So he's got a pee, right? And then, there's the delay. And now look at their faces. I'm going to scroll forward. She's whoa. She has that, what the? Right? And then she is she's trying not to, but she does have a reaction. He has no reaction whatsoever. Let's look at Jesse Waters. Does he react? Oh. Not really. He's just trying to back up his friend and he laughs. Okay. Okay, let's watch.
You're on the air.
Greg.
That reaction. I love that. Look at this guy. Look at his face. He's like...
Greg.
Jesse, why don't you kick us off? That was so funny. All right, I'll
fake
take
laugh,
Greg's slot until he has to come back from the bathroom. I want everybody to watch Fox News this weekend. I need you to start.
Yo, can we talk about Jesse Waters might have a drinking problem? What is that? He's slurring his words?
From the bathroom. I want everybody to watch Fox News this weekend. I need you to start.
I want everybody to watch Fox News this weekend. We need you to... I wish that clip were to have extended a little bit. I think Jesse Waters has a drinking problem. That was really funny, and I want everyone to watch Fox News this weekend. And I don't know. Anyway, this is the absolute state of Fox News right now. Not sending their best, folks. And again, in the words of our former president, I want to say...
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Lord have mercy. Max! Maxie! I think he just came in here. That might have been Cody, though. They all have a drinking problem. Uh-oh. Maxie! Say hello to the stream. Maxie, hello, my precious. Look at him. He's got his paws up. Look at this. Paws are up. You see that? His paws are up. Hi. Hey. Cody. Cody's in the background. Hi. Oh. Oh. Hello, Cody. Oh. Oh. Thank you, Max. Thank you. Is there a Rudy bit? Someone Rudy me. All right. Let's get this in. This will probably be my last story, and then I'll peace out. Again, we're going to have a baby come here in like the next 30-40 minutes. So I'm going to have to vacuum the living room and I think and do some other stuff. And, I also just want to see the fucking kids. So, I will be peacing out a little bit early. I will be back probably later today. I think I'm going to be doing the Scythe X Doom WOD. So, I know you have three. Well, we got Cody right here. Cody. We can't see Cody. Cody the dog. Hey. We have 4 dogs in this house. But Max is my dog. Cody and Gaia, who's a bulldog, are the new parents' dogs. And then we've got Cheeto, who is another person's dog. But Max is my dog. And so that's why Max is always chilling with me. But again, the newly minted parents are in the hospital for a couple days with the birthing process, and they're coming home today. So I've been watching Cody. And Gaia doesn't come up into my room much because she has a problem with stairs, and I'm on the 2nd floor. So she chills in the living room. But, yeah. So, the absolute state of these dogs. Cheeto! Will we ever see Cheeto? I post Cheeto on my Twitter all the time. I have tons of Cheeto on Twitter. You gotta pay attention to the tweets. You gotta here's what y'all gotta do. You gotta bookmark my Twitter page, my profile. And what I want you to do is I want you to read every single one of my tweets. I know, make this part of your morning routine. Like when you check YouTube, when you check your fucking cryptocurrencies, because I know y'all have cryptocurrencies, right? You gotta go look at my Twitter feed. It's part of, in fact, let me check my Litecoins. Litecoin, my precious. Ooh, 227. Let's get it, bro. Stellar, almost at 41 again. God bless. God fucking bless. I love crypto coins. Tocam. All right. Whoop. Tocam. Have fun screenshotting that one. Anyway, folks, I got some breaking news here. So, Ed Mackey, folks. He's really doing what he was elected to do. Senator Ed Mackey pushes to end daylight savings time, springing forward and falling back. Let's get it. Senator Ed Mackey Mass is reintroducing a bill, along with a bipartisan group of senators, that would put an end to the decades-old ritual of turning clocks forward in the spring and backward in fall. The Sunshine Protection Act would push winter sunsets in Massachusetts up to 5:30 from 4:30. It's sunshine in the evening. It just makes people feel better, Mackey said. Psychologists say mental health would be affected, since natural light provides an increase in serotonin, the chemical that makes people feel happy. But for many, there's also a downside. A winter morning sunrise in Boston would move from about 7:15 to 8:15 a.m. State lawmakers have also proposed a bill that would make daylight saving time permanent. But with COVID-19 dominating the agenda, it has also been on the back burner. So I covered this a couple days ago of Rick Scott and Marco Rubio introducing the Protect Sunshine Act. And at that point, only Republicans were signing on. And then everyone comes Ed Mackey. He comes in and he's like, you know what? This is pretty good. He did a Twitter poll. It's like, should I do this? And then he did. So that's awesome. Now, my personal opinion, I am not only a daylight savings time abolitionist, I am a time zone abolitionist. I think we should have one global time zone. Right? Now, my preference would be Eastern time, but I think we should have one global time zone, right? If it is, Greenwich Mean Time, whatever, one global time zone. If you wake up at fucking 9 p.m. and go to work at 12, or whatever, honestly, I would get rid of the AM PM. Let's do that as well. I'm an AM PM abolitionist. I think we should have a 1 to 24 hours, 0 to 20. I think it's 1 to 24. I don't know. I'm obviously really dumb. But that's what we should do. It's 1 to 23, or 0 to 23, is what we should do. AM, PM abolitionist, time zone abolitionist, daylight savings time abolitionist, fuck that shit. All my homies hate that shit. And set it forward 30 minutes and leave it. That's also what we should do. We should, every few months just set it forward 30 minutes, right? So, it's just interesting. It just keeps everyone on their toes. We should do this globally. Every 3 months, we just push it forward 30 minutes. So what? If it fucks with everyone's sleep, who cares? Just have fun. Time is arbitrary, bro. Let's get it. Fuck linear time. All my homies hate linear time. Exactly. Fuck that shit. Anyway, now that Ed Mackey has, joined this daylight savings time thing, I can now officially resign from the Republican Party. As I mentioned the other day, I was joining the Republican Party because they were trying to protect sunshine, and I thought that was such a noble act that I decided to join the Republican Party, and I would like to today, now 3 or so days later, announce my resignation from the Republican Party, folks. That's it. I'm done. Used them, and now you lose them. Pump and then dump. Get out of there, folks. Ed Mackey's got her back. That's all I got to say. $13-month, 28 days, and at the end of October we have Halloween 2. I'm down with Halloween 2. A day is exactly 23 hours and 56 minutes. We have 4 extra minutes of nothingness that are just being stolen from me. Anyway, folks, I'd like to say thank you for watching. To be honest with you, and I say this without any jokes whatsoever. There's no jokes here. But I'm going to be ending the show. So I want to say, like the stream. Thank you. I appreciate the super chats. I appreciate if anyone wants to give me money on PayPal. But at this current moment,
time now for one more thing. I gotta pee. I gotta pee.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ. And he's like this, and we were, I need water, help me, I need water, help.
Yeah, I gotta pee.
And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup from my family. They're so innocent. This is soup from my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me.
Please choose to be
Imagine if I
self-evident.
lose my whole life.
All men and women created.
I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
And I have a simple proposition here. I'm here to ask you for your help. Where I come from, you don't get far unless you ask. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you'd like to see help out, if not both the other way, give me a look.
That the most potent force in the Republican Party is President Trump. We need Trump plus.
They had a very bad original concept. It was carried out poorly, and the cover-up was one of the worst in the history.
Amazing phone call I made. 40 Wall Street actually was the second tallest building in downtown Manhattan, and it was actually, before the World Trade Center, was the tallest. And then when they built the World Trade Center, it became known as the second tallest, and now it's the tallest.
One of the worst in the history of cover-ups. Very simple. Bad deal, should have never been thought of. Somebody really messed up. And they had the worst.
Everybody digging my chili, what I'm laying down, that is not true.
Is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it.